must choose.
I love that first pick, Razor.
I think everyone loves first pick.
100% win rate though on Chinese teams, and Secret, which is now an official Chinese team as well.
What do they ban then? Timber, Viper ban, and
I mean, Zeus is another one of those heroes that provides you that versatility.
Nothing
Like LGD haven't revealed anything with being able to pick this one, being able to run it. 2, 4, 5, it's totally viable in any of those roles. So I like this opening. Again, it gives a little bit more strength to that 8th pick, the last pick of the first phase. I'm assuming that OG probably went for the second pick this time around because it in the overall game strategy in game number 1 because
not now, but
we're able to respond in that.
like there's supports, there's Viper.
I'm curious, Misery. When you talked about the
I think Mars, like, we've seen
there's still some
Mars-
for the first pick. For example, yeah, we saw it. There's so many broken heroes that the 8th pick
Mars
became
has
kind
done
of
well
like
against
crucial.
Zeus.
So what's first pick?
Mars.
Well, how do you think the 8th
Mars
pick
is-
right now is best utilized in the current meta?
I think that's a good opening.
I think the 8th pick can be strong, but it can also kind of be not strong. That sounds maybe a bit redundant, but like in a way, I think first pick is a lot about trying to pick as many flexible heroes as you can to confuse your enemy into not having this valuable 18, valuable 24 pick, right? If the enemy don't really know where your heroes are going, if they have like 4 or 5 flexible heroes, it's very hard to pick 1 or 2 heroes that counters all that, right? Because you can adjust which heroes goes which lane, which heroes core, things like that. So I think first pick is a lot more about maybe confusing your enemy or throwing out a curveball or some disguising some of your core heroes with potential supports and so on. A bit like we see with the Viper from OG, right? They're able to play it both 4 and 5 and also on MR. So
We haven't seen a game, I believe, at least that I've been covering here on the panel, where when you're picking a support in this 8th pick, it is what wins you the game, right? We've seen some Nyx Assassins, we've seen like even a Crystal Maiden occasionally, and it just feels less impactful, right? Because it's not that, ooh, we're going to be able to protect this with the next 3 bans. Clockwork, it isn't really that, but you do get that flexibility still, right? Zeus, like I said before, can play 3 different lanes. Clockwork 2.5, I guess.
Unless you're 9.
Unless you're 9, but I don't think we're going to be seeing Nothing to Say play a mid-Clockwork this game.
I am curious though, because you have been hyping this pick up the whole tournament. Every time they pick Warlock, you go, they need something going with the backlines. You always mention Clockwork, so is that enough to justify this pick?
I think it's good
At
just to
8.
be able to disrupt the Clockwork a little bit, but it's not just what you're able to do to them. You're providing a lot of assistance to them, right? You're disrupting the team fight. You're creating this barrier that Zeus has to play around, in addition to the heavenly jump. Like, it becomes a lot easier game for the Zeus to be able to sit back and freely cast your spells. So I think what OG needs to focus on, obviously they've already got the Tiny that could, but they need a way to be able to have vision, but also punish the Zeus backline.
Misery, I'm curious about the Warlock pick because it was a staple of the Chinese teams coming into this tournament, then it quickly adapted to pretty much everybody. What are the current strengths of this pick and why is it so overwhelmingly strong?
I mean, he's a really strong laner, right? He can pretty much enable any carry, and he's very flexible in terms of what he lanes against. It's pretty hard to counter through in lane. And then on top of that, he has like, I mean, some of the best team fight you can find in Dota, right? So it's a very stable hero. I think it makes sure that you have the team fight you need in the draft and like secures your carry.
They need someone to see it from someone else.
I do like the Clockwork pick, and something you guys didn't mention is the fact that, I mean, with Zeus, it's like all adds that extra damage. It makes Clockwork that much stronger. It sets him up for better game.
Even for the Nimbus, right?
He's not slow, he makes your carry faster.
But also, like, Clockwork is one of those heroes that, one of those
You're not spending money on
does not
that.
need any items to be effective. His 6 is really strong, but he doesn't need, like, for example, Tiny kind of needs a Blink Dagger when played as a 4, right? But Clock needs no items. And I think we see more of these heroes that has a really strong 6, but doesn't need items, more popular right now. Clock, Earth Spirit, for example, Tusk as well. Even Nyx Assassin, right? Their 6 is really strong, and they don't need items to actually make stuff happen on the map. They don't need a downtime to start farming Blink Dagger. Whereas Tiny, I mean, OG is probably going to put Tiny mid, but just like comparing fours here, like that's why I think Clock is seeing more play now, because there's more emphasis on cores having, you know, space to farm. You can't have your support need like, oh, I need 4 minutes, guys, then I'm ready. There's no time for that, you know?
Do you think there's the potential for them to still run the Tiny as a 4 and then pick up something like a Puck for themselves again? You know, BZM plays it really well. Also, you're going to get enabled by that Fatal Bond so heavily, right? Where Puck kind of needs that little bit of extra spike in damage in the early game just to make sure he's having that impact.
Yeah, I mean, it's always possible, right? Like, one of the strengths of Tiny as a pick is obviously the hero is really strong, both mid and forward too, but it's like the flexibility of the hero is strong, and that's probably why we see it from second pick being good as well, in this case.
I'm also curious about how this strategy, these faster supports, do you feel like it's also been an answer to this tricore that we've been seeing from a lot of teams? You know, OG started that in Stockholm Mage, or they perfect that perhaps. Do these fours, these faster fours, don't need items, put more pressure into these tricore strategies?
5 seconds remain.
Or do they enable them instead?
They enable them in both, like we see a lot of range cores nowadays, like they enable them in the laning phase, but then also in mid game when you kind of like farming all 3 lanes, like OG style, right? You need those supports to kind of block the smokes and kind of give vision for your cores, right? And those heroes that don't need items, that are kind of, it's kind of annoying to run into a clock, you know? He might hook away, he might put cogs down. Same with the Nyx assassin, right? He's running back and forth.
I love the way
Like, these heroes are,
I love the way
even if you run into them smoked, you might not be able to kill them. If you do kill them, it doesn't really matter, right? So I think that's also some of the strength of the heroes.
There's a way to be able to get in onto the back lines if you get, you know, the Blink Dagger into the shackles. Certainly gives you that follow-up potential. Interesting. I didn't know Seb had subbed in for OG already, just being able to come into this one. But just even with the clockwork as well, one more point that I want to touch on is obviously the double damage that you can now do to creeps with the battery assault, so that if you are out there blocking creeps, trying to hunt around a little bit, you have the potential to like shove in a more dangerous lane a little bit more effectively, right? You can get that farm if you need to, just to relieve a little bit of map pressure on that.
Yeah, it's definitely like covered some of the hero's weakness before, like you are able to farm some camps in the downtime.
So what do they get if they lose?
As for the bans, we can have a look at fast. Like, I think the
425.
I mean, it's kind of a lot of the same bans we see nowadays. It's always like these bristlebacks and like Death Prophet. You know,
particularly with a Warlock, the Bristle is just like so devastating in the lane.
Yeah.
Like, Cool Spray is going to hit everything. You bully them out of the lane. You've got insane sustain with the Shadow Word.
Fatal Bonds, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm really thinking of is how is LGD going to be able to respond to this? Because they've obviously got a really good team fight. Now they've got a good pick-off as well with the Wind Ranger. So which one do you choose to focus on? I feel like Dawnbreaker is pretty good, right? Because you can go for the pick-off, you have a strong lane, you've got that ability to respond to like, you know, a tiny initiating onto someone with a Fatal Bonds. And kind of like I was talking about with the Clockwork, if this Dawnbreaker goes into a support, not to say it has to, you can also play that more dangerous role, you know, free up a lot of space on the map for the cores to continue on.
There's another aspect of this draft that we've been seeing a lot this tournament as well, which is the global aspect as Dawnbreaker came into the meta. With Zeus, Clockwork, and Dawnbreaker, there's a lot of global potential here. How do you feel about that strength of a lineup? Is that ever a factor that you look into it, the mobility around the map?
Yeah, I think these global heroes, like we see a lot of them being played right now.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, Dawnbreaker, Zeus, Furion especially right now, like these heroes are, I mean, they add an extra kind of dynamic to your lineup, right? That makes it easier to play. But we see here LDD, they have, I was gonna mention like how they are still flexible in the sense that they can put the Dawnbreaker mid, offlane and carry, and the Zeus can still be support. They end up picking the Jakiro here, which kind of locks their draft a bit more, but at the same time they're able to put the Dawnbreaker carry as well as offlane. Knowing them, I think it's probably more likely to be offlane. So, I mean, maybe Armor can play it, but I strike LDD more as being, you know, they want him to be on an actual like hard carry, right?
Get Naga again.
And they go with the Void here.
One other thing I want to point out as well with LGD's draft, one thing I really like about it, we've talked a little bit about that presence coming through with the and the Dawnbreaker, and it feels to me like this Jakiro and Clockwork, once you hit level 6 on Jakiro, on both of them honestly, they can just roam on their own and look to pick off kills, right? You get the hookshot, you get the cogs, drop down the macro pyre. If it's a support, that's all you need. If it's a core, a really high priority target that you find, you're able to drop that Thunder God's Wrath and the Solar Guardian to be able to convert onto a really valuable kill. So it allows something like the Dawn and the Zeus to just sit back and farm and let the supports be the ones to take the onus on being aggressive.
Now that the Void got picked, there is no chance of Jakiro going offlane here, right? Because it is a freebie here, Jakiro.
I mean, that could be really cool if they choose to do that, honestly.
And the other point for the Void question is Void into Dawnbreaker. Usually they try to avoid that because obviously healing the Dawnbreaker. How do you feel that matchup goes?
I mean, I think Dawnbreaker is a super strong laner, but I feel like Void will be really happy going with like Clock. They're gonna be, so that's why I kind of like the idea of doing Hero offlane with a Clock and then having Dawnbreaker either played as 5 or as the carrier. I think that could be putting a lot of pressure on OG. I wonder if it's a little drastic, kind of
Change.
move.
Or do they
Yeah,
bring
change,
bring the lone druid back?
So I
Army
feel like
lone
they're not
druid.
gonna do that. They
I
could
was
put
so
the
sick.
Kiro as a support though,
Yeah.
together with the Dawnbreaker and play clock into
So I
the
feel
tank.
like tower damage is like
I mean,
Actually, it's
Kiro
twin
only.
runner for, so they know that it's a tiny mid now.
Yeah.
That's also something to know.
Spectre
More
coming out okay,
global.
really doubling down
Classic.
on that global potential, right? 3 different heroes, again, Clockwork, I guess you could say Rocket Flare is that a little
What
bit
does
as well.
LGD stand
I just
for?
want to touch on the Void
What does
really quickly
LGD
though.
stand for?
It feels like that time dilation is going to have a
dragon.
lot of value this game.
Someone's calling me the other day.
Oh, really?
Leave in and out of
I was thinking, you need a fun. They have G in the name, so Paris sound global now.
Yeah.
L global B. Wait, how do you fit global
So
in
I
there?
feel like maybe an early Akshar is the way that they're going to go after the Maelstrom on the Faceless Void this game, just to be able to dominate a few of those early skirmishes and look to cement the control on the map. And I really like LGD's draft so far.
How does OG respond to this? Like, what's the final pick that makes their draft work? It seems like they have to just concentrate on Void being strong here. Like, you need something inside the
There's
chrono.
nowhere I can go.
They might pick something like Underlord,
It's bad.
Ah,
They banned Underlord, Slaughter.
maybe Tidehunter. I mean, they just need something that goes up against the Spectre and just goes there, right? 'Cause it's,
Right.
it's a pretty free
What
lane
about a
for a lot of offlaners.
Choose.
I mean,
Huskar.
It is behind.
Oh, that is the
Okay.
Amar special. Hello.
don't hate that. Don't hate that. We get to see something else coming out, and there's all smiles with the OG boys as well. I was thinking, like, what's going to provide break? Because, I mean, Tiny eventually, I suppose, can look to go into it, but that Spectre's going to be a little bit of a menace unless the lane gets dominated by Amar.
Every time I see the Huskar, I still remember this long pub chat I saw of Amar where he picked a Razor for the 15th game in a row, and someone else chats, I forgot who it was, Razor again, and he goes, "Do you want me to do Huskar instead?" As that's the threat from Amar.
So, like right now, I think the pick is cool and everything, but I feel like there's a bit of a weakness for OG if LG chooses to try lane safe lane.
Ooh.
Because they can actually just throw the Dawnbreaker offlane alone against Warlock, and he should be able to get a lot of stuff, right?
Get something.
By himself, yeah, something. Meanwhile, Huskar is a hero that's pretty reliant on having a good lane, right? Getting that armlet on early on. If he's shut down, it can be a real problem for their draft, I think. So, I don't know if they can do that, but I think that's something that they can punish OG with.
Oh, as you guys saw the draft here, you see the Spectre is like kind of about to disappear, and so will we. We will also disappear and give way to the casters for this game 2 between OG and PSG.
Amar the Husker, that last pick coming out the cost. That's a dirty one, isn't it? OG really flipping the script on that.
It really is, but this global presence, we've seen it so many times in this patch over the DPC in this tournament. Teams do prioritize a couple of these here. We're talking about the Zeus, we're talking about the Dawnbreaker especially, and now we're gonna have a full combo: Clockwork, Dawnbreaker, Zeus, and Spectre on one team. Maybe they could have had Ancient Apparition to have 5 out of 5 because Jakiro is a bit sluggish, but we'll see. I like going with the Misery made on panel about potential tri-lane to be able to just get this like good start to Ame, because Huskar doesn't deal well with tri-lane. The Dawnbreaker could potentially be like left alone, I would say, for a couple of minutes, maybe 2-3, and then she will need help. Like, it's not a killer lane. We're talking about Warlock plus Faceless Void.
Passive.
It's very passive. It's about securing your safe lane farm, pretty much.
Keep that Void topped up on his HP. Not really any aggression or kill threat from them.
30 seconds.
You're arguing.
Counting.
Gonna walk up on the high ground to try and scout any vision. But Faith Beyond was there ready and waiting for him. It's always so cool to see how these concepts develop, right? The first time we saw these heroes going into that mid-tower range, looking for observer wards. Then we see people reacting, putting a player there, so you can't really give away that information. Nice. Where's someone sat there to scout out? LGD hold the high ground near the top rune.
And
They're coming in from behind, they're baiting, nothing to say, and OG, they had no idea this was coming. Huge dual break into Amar and Misha, focus the Huskar with a battery assault into body blocking him, and Amar about to die as your first blood still down by LGD Zeus. Nothing to say, your mid laner grabbing that extra gold is going to be a huge boost to him.
Not perfect execution from LGD for that first blood. They did not allow them to see them. And look at 2 observer boards. Oh, yeah, things out. One in triangle and one behind tier 1 and tier 2 tower.
That's huge. I see everything coming. It looks like Misery was absolutely spot on. 3 heroes from LGD up top. The tri-lane has been assembled. And Amar, I think he's realised what's coming. He sits away. They focus Tiger, forcing both supports back as Misha has also traversed his way up top. Tri-lane versus Tri-lane. What year is it? Tiger is dual breathed up. Fairy Fire popped. He's alive and safe under the tier 1.
I saw the post on Reddit about old E-Home from 2008 or 2010. ESWC, they invented the Tri-lane.
Well, Visage, the Undying. Now, none of them. We've got Warlock, Wind Ranger against the Clockwork Jakiro, and Tiger is in trouble again. Misha's trying to attack the Battery Assault for him. But you've got so much harassment coming out of these LGD heroes that OG have been buckled, sent back to their tower time and time again.
Also, Ame going for Earth. This is a bit of an old school build because they knew, they already know, like PSG they're prepared in every single segment of the game because they knew that they're going to run a tri-lane. So having that means they're going to be a little bit more kills, a bit more aggression. So the value that you get from Earn is going to be pretty nuts in this game. Also, to say off to a good start. One more time, getting the first blood, getting that bottle. So he's going to have room to be secured and also bringing some extra items. What is he bringing? Magic Stick and the Clarity.
Yeah, leaps and bounds ahead already. I will expect you reckon finish that into Spirit Vessel against the Huskar, or is it just an Earn for the laning stage?
For the laning stage, it gives you like decent amount of stats, a bit of mana regen, and yeah, exactly what you need.
Makes sense, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, Sage's Mask is such a valuable item all round. Good pick up for him, as Misha's Courier, with a lot of regen on it, dies. So this top lane looking big dire for OG.
Sage Mask, something called Sage. Carries are pretty happy to buy the item.
They are. Now bot lane, you're arguing against Faith Beyond in a 1v1. It's not too bad for the Dawnbreaker, right?
No, Dawnbreaker can do okay, because she does, like, every single time the hammer's used, and look at the build. He's going for a point in luminosity, just to have some extra sustain, a bit of more harassment. Here comes the harassment, because he just used the time off.
Tiger turning onto GQ. One is there to hold them back. And it's triple range for OG, so they've got the ability to position themselves, do good damage into the Spectre and the Clockwork if they are able to put themselves in that spot. Go towards Arme, a couple of burning spears, why? Chased down by Tiger. So revenge for OG incoming. No way for Jakiro to pull away from that. Finish him off with the inner fire.
Only level 1 and Clockwork needs to be a little bit careful.
Straight towards Tiger though, into the middle of 3 of them. Shadow Word on it. Tiger windrunning away, and now Jinju going to hand his life over to Amar, who gets a double kill.
OG used the opportunity because Clockwork was trying to pull the lane back. Lane was very close to tier 1 tower of OG, and they needed to pull it back, and instant aggression coming out. You mentioned the 3 range heroes, especially against Spectre. Ame actually has Spirit Vessel queued up.
Ooh. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Against the Huskar, it kind of makes sense, but you have the worry that he's not going to scale and buy this item. It's quite expensive for a position 1 to go for this utility item. And in that mid lane, top root spot, BZM trapped inside the car. GQ, he sets it up for nothing to say here to get a bit more zap damage in. And Zeus finding another kill and accelerating his own game.
He still might change his mind about the Spirit Vessel, but outside the box, maybe they're gonna play a bit more like heavy, like carry-oriented build on Dawnbreaker, and the Spectre will catch up. Because you don't want to have Spirit Vessel on the core Dawnbreaker. Zeus is not the one that's gonna buy it. But we'll see if he commits to it.
We'll see what he does. Yeah, we'll give him that little bit of a window there. It's a nice stopgap item just to kind of bridge the early game.
OG will need to be careful. Zeus is going to be level 6 very soon after the next creep wave. So then having that extra damage on 3 heroes against the tri-lane, that's going to be massive. This is when LG will try to get a killer.
Well, a contest on the pull. Shinji getting shackled, but he's got Tiger inside the cops now. Dagger across from Arme. Close the gap onto the Wind Ranger. She'll try and get out with the Wind Run. Jinju going in, but the Solar Guardian is coming in, landing onto Amar's head. And Huskar, a quick change of focus, charging in towards Misha and Tiger now, and all 3 of them are going to die. Clockwork, the only casualty for LGD. And Zeus, yeah, he was dropping low in that mid lane.
He was ready to pop the ulti, but no mana has Hurricane Boots right now. This is global presence. This is how they're going to get more heroes and just trying to kill this tri-lane. Jinju doing a lot of work in terms of refilling the bottle, gaining the mid lane. He's securing enough to save early game, and in terms of levels, not doing so hot, level 2.5 on Clockwork. Jackal doesn't connect. Nice snipes in this.
Snagged it under the nose. I have nothing to say. He's still full HP, full mana though. Would have liked a bottle refill, but not a massive deal. Tiger coming in from behind. The avalanche was there, but no tops available for BZM. Couldn't get on top of the Zeus. While back up the top, that's just GG. Every time you look at this Clockwork, he is there, trapping someone inside cogs. Faithful bombs from Misha though, trying to swing the momentum back their way. And even though they are 2v3, they push LGD back and in the mid lane, and on the shackle shot, an interesting angle there from Tiger. Still unable to finish him off, and nothing to say, stands his ground. Blows up the Wind Ranger and survives on a sliver of HP.
Raindrop plus fire, even a full man. Usually you don't see that item on Zeus, but this is what keeps him alive. Having a couple of extra charges, and also 3 extra attributes. Man, looking at the bottom lane, Fate Beyond 43 and 13 against 29. So he's gonna have another ulti in 15 seconds. Is he bringing, a couple of mangoes?
And just keep that game flowing for LGD.
Jinju, another refill.
He's all over the place, isn't he? I don't think he's come down bottom yet, so he's got one of those maps, he wants to travel the world. He's going to cross the bottom jungle off his list. He gets a nice little ward there, deep in the jungle. And I spent a lot of time ping-ponging from top to mid, bouncing around.
Dawnbreaker ulti available, Zeus. Not ready, but they're waiting for nothing to say hello.
They were waiting for him. They know that rotation was coming, but the Solar Guardian and the raindrops popped out. Nothing to say, it's fine. BZM spent his combo with no kill coming, and the turnaround cancelled by Tiger. Good shackle shot. Stops the Starbreaker, and Uragi's faceless boy. He's here with Chrono ready, holding onto it for the time being, and blown up completely. Didn't spend his ultimate. Well, Amar, yes, he'll kill off Y, but Spectre chasing him down under the tier 1 tower top. The avalanche top, not finishing off the clock. LGD yet again winning a battle where it looked like OG had the setup on them.
Yeah, nothing to say was keeping the distance on Zeus, using the arc lightning like, I don't know, 10-15 times, and they just couldn't get stuff done. Even if he lands the Chronosphere, I don't think there's enough damage. Like, in terms of damage inside Chrono, they're gonna be pretty limited. We're talking about, like, maybe tiny avalanche, power shot, but other than that, it's gonna be very, very limited. And now Spectre has ulti, so they don't necessarily need to play top lane. They can shift position, potentially bottom lane. Zeus will have ulti available in 3 seconds, plus Arcane Room. Like this global strat.
They can play anywhere. They're not locked into any potential, real part of the map. They've got the potential to go wherever they want to. If they know the target they can kill quickly, they'll find him, but this Radiant Observer ward, getting de-warded, did spot them coming, so Misha will retreat back behind his tower. They'll see Uragi bottom though in a second. I think that dire ward might just have, maybe it did in the trees were there, right? I don't think they knew exactly where he was going.
Going for Spirit Vessel, no boots, Magic Wand on Spectre. We'll have it in 400 gold. I guess he understands that this Huskar could potentially get out of control if he's not countered. It'll only have is like magic damage. There's gonna be some physical coming up from Fate Beyond because he's going for Deso.
Oh, from the offlane, yes.
This is what I mentioned, just him scaling a little bit more. They have the damage because Spectre going for different item, and in terms of tower damage, they don't have as much, so this Deso is going to help out quite a lot. Jinju, shackle on him.
And BZM coming forward, but there we go. Dawnbreaker ulti, it is forced down, the Chrono on 2. Why? Nothing to say, looking to get dashed in from the sideline. The Tiger was trapped inside the Chrono, now Ice Path and call it out. BZM in trouble, the Spectre horns back in towards Uragi, chasing the faceless boy, the shackle shot comes. But Uragi, the time on to the low ground, I don't think that's enough to give him the space he needs. LGD will find the faceless void. A lot of ultimates expended in that trade. But LGD coming out on top once again. BZM, here comes the Takiro.
It's slow, it's going to be attack speed.
So
Nothing to
difficult.
say. Add another chain and we'll get it.
He's going to get the double here, isn't he? I mean, Amar is arriving. Machine Q will try and save another save, but the Husker with the damage. Amar jumps in, the cops were good, but they killed the Zeus.
That's a big one. Amar on the network right now. He was in the triangle, getting a couple of stacks, and very close to just a casual sun right now. Having that armlet, it's going to be a bit difficult to go in and kill Roshan because all the global presence they have, like even one rocket can change things, one Zeus ulti. So they need to take a fight before they can go inside a bit with the Huskar.
And a little bit nasty playing into Jakiro as well. Damage over time is always your enemy. As a Huskar with an armor. 11 minutes, 4 seconds. First time this patch, no surprises whatsoever. And Spectre finishes the Spirit Vessel.
It's easy to break a record if you go item that no one buys.
I wonder what the stats are on like a Crystal Maiden Rapier.
Probably happened, man. Not in the DPC tour, but yeah, some low bracket definitely happened. Zeus ulti is available. He used the previous one with your Cane Rune, so that means it's going to be up again. BZM on Tiny. Shut down a little bit. Also, he decided to go for Power Treads and Wind Delay, so the Blink Dagger gonna be delayed.
Yeah, much slower game from him. Both of the big cores, well, I guess the regular cores on OG sitting at about 4,000 net worth, and again we come back to the point about Amar being at position 1 from the off lane. He is the highest farmed hero in the game at over 6,000. A lot rests on his shoulders going into these mid-game team fights as well.
Using the scan, wrong side. It's only that they can find should be an easy one. Another Arcane Rune. Could you check the rune control again for this particular game? Because in the previous one, Zeus 6, 93, and Clockwork 5.
We've seen this from LG right now, up against any team in this tournament. It has been control the runes for nothing to say. Bounty runes as well, of course, adding a lot of that income to LGD's back bounce. It's a 1k lead. So on the other side, you can say OG doing a pretty good job of keeping the farm rates up and actually hitting creeps much better. 107 last hits compared to 69 on the Faceless Void.
Nice. Faceless Void going for Hammer Midas is going to have it right now, pops it immediately. Seems like Yuragi going for a bit of a different item build because he was playing 1 versus 1, so you don't need that much sustain. It's still slower. I believe like one of the fastest one was the EDBC div 2, like 5 minutes, 5-minute Midas because Faceless. It was also on Faceless Void, yeah. One kill, I believe.
Patch
Is the one
Francis.
who got it.
7 minutes usually. On this Faceless Void. And that might be a rush, you know, he's going for Treads Wraithband. TP's away from the bot lane, gets out of the reach of Faith Beyond's Dawnbreaker. And there's another rune, right? DD spawns bot. Guess who's getting it? It's nothing to say.
And he's picking up the power runes. GQ all over the place with his Clockwork, moving around the map, in the triangles, counting things out, what's happening now near the outpost, Cleanse Division being very annoying in their face.
And
they have this global presence, they don't even need it to fuck the Warlock.
No, they don't. Straight onto the Warlock. And LGD is so good at playing into their vision. Yeah, he's getting into position to place it, but it's also rallying his team to come and use that vision to their advantage to get these kills. OG looking to make a concerted effort to go and push out top lane with 3 heroes down, getting some walls down of their own, scouting army in the jungle.
Dire's top tower is
I'm still more farmed than Yuragi, even though he decided to go for Spirit Vessel, which is not an item that helps you farm by any means.
Yeah, looking for those charges for the kills.
Radiant's bottom
A couple of minutes ago, there was a lot of drawing from OG, the captains saying, stay on our side of the river, don't overextend, just keep this calm, natural farm rate, income flowing.
Fabian finishing that, so they are ready to go. Like, they want to take the fight right now. Spectre on is available, they want to show where Warlock is.
And they see Yuragi. A few spells onto him immediately. The golden dropped in onto Joking Q. The big bomb crossed the 4 of them. Hiding in with avalanche toss and they've killed the 4 blow quickly. Solar Guardian now. As KGN arrives and the bird through too. Flying and BZM being blown up. Wild drop and Fabian taken out by Amar. And Yuragi's
OG. Very patient with the Golem and also with the Chronosphere. They did not want to commit immediately. They also have good ways to counter-initiate. And yeah, look at some of these numbers. That's 3,000 damage done by Warlock.
Yeah,
Out by Huskar, yeah, those fatal bonds. And finally, OG about to pick up one room. Oh, Misha gets it.
I'll change it for him.
Yeah, because Tiny was not close. Usually we won't give it to Tiny, but Tiny does not have an EP.
So she's in. Hawaii trying to catch up here. Tiger with the second shot. Keeps him at bay. And Huskar straight back in with the light break in a fire. Power shot trying to snipe GQ. The clock is one, and it looks like he should get away.
OG doesn't rely, like, even without, Chronosphere and Rock, they can still take a fight, because you have Huskar. On the other side, they want to have Zeus Salty, they want to have Spectre. We're going to see that again. Like, Rock managed to get out. Like, even though there was an ice path, a good shackle, so he manages to get on top.
And look at this life break with the fatal bond.
I mean, everyone had fatal bonds on them.
As soon as the Huskar spots the guy he wants to go on, Fatal Beyond just immediately evaporates. Fatal Bonds bounces the damage back into the Chrono on the Zeus.
Nice placed Chronosphere on the edge, catching 2 heroes.
It looked decent for OG with that global presence and the Spectre joining in, but beautifully done by OG to execute, and they'll continue. They steamroller don't stop. Shinkyu, another one on the list, ticked off.
I love building Hiragi this time around going for the Fusel Blade to be able to have another form of slow. Just being able to kill supports, to slow down potentially, like even Spectre, burning mana. And now outside of it, they go. No rocket. Let's see Zeus, they know something is up.
They've got to know. Huskar such an important Roshan hero. You just picking out BGM with Hiragi. Holding out in that mid lane, and the rest of OG wanting to fight while Amar can basically just solo Roshan.
Amar still has armor, 16 warm charges.
Yeah.
He's looking for an angle.
They're starting forward, they're getting the pit. Roshan's nearly dead, they blow up Amar. The thumping on the ground, beautiful play from Misha. He drops the goal in on them, snatched up. BZM grabs Cages in a 3-man Chrono. Hiragi got 4 of them trapped in there, in fact. Nothing to say, focus down, and the upheaval slows the 2 are crawl. There's no escape. OG, they're destroying them. Army's left out in the river. No way to get out of the grasp of OG.
Even though they got a good initiation, they found angle for Huskar to be able to kill him. Rock drops, and the beautiful Chronosphere 2 times in a row. Your Rock Giga Chad, I dare to say. Absolutely beautiful, and Tiny finally gets to get his couple of combos off in a team fight.
So,
I'm not sure if Spectre ulti was not available. Yeah, it looked like it wasn't, so...
Still a CD.
They connected, maybe... Like, allowing too much, because Don did get stopped there, and yeah, 4-man Chronosphere here.
These fatal bombs as well, again, across 4 heroes, spreading this damage. So beautifully pushed out. BZM respawning after grabbing the Aegis. Turns it back onto Arme. Focus everybody else, leave the Spectre to last. And white LGD off the face of the map. Amar looks a little uncomfortable that he's dying around Roshan. He's not too happy about that.
He wanted that HQ,
Yeah, absolutely would love to have it. Hiragi picks up yet another one. Lying in that top jungle. LGD still trying to play into their vision there with nothing to say in Jin Q. Look at that damage spread, 10.7k from the Warlock, and that's majority from the Fatal Bomb. Haunted from Army. They're hunting though, OG are in on to Zeus, nothing to say, can't heavily jump away. And a time walk out by the Faceless Void. Creates the gap he needs, allowing LGD to pick up the pieces, clear up Tiger, but now the time dilation and Fusel Blade slow, and BZM with the gap closed. Oh, they toss him back into Amar, who's got the damage to rip the Dawnbreaker, limb from limb.
If this is a Maelstrom, they don't have enough. You don't have this another slow to be able to set things up for your Tiny. You toss back into Amar, and yeah, Tiny's getting pretty massive. Now they are the ones controlling the moves. Hiragi's gonna pick up 3 rebuild the bottle for BZM. And BZM on Tiny. Echo Saber done, Blink Dagger as well. I think thinking about getting a 4-staff.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
There is one 4-staff on a mid-ranger that's going to be done in 100 gold. Vorlon probably thinking about getting one after finishing the pipe. They're going to hit the big timing with this pipe. A lot of damage will be negated by pipe because most of the damage that they got is magical. Besides on making a couple of right clicks, you know, here and there, getting scouted.
I saw BZM for a second, but it was GQ and Y, the two supports, not wanting to stick around. Yeah, look there. He's caught up now, BZM. Not just that, but they've overtaken in terms of bounty room gold as well. Of course, getting them later on gives you more of that money. Y very aggressively farming this bottom radiant jungle. OG is spamming them. Don't let them get away with this. Get straight onto that hero. GQ with the hook shot, full staff across. But Y is focused down. GQ, full staff and TP home. What was that? What's the idea there for LGD? Putting two supports bottom, that's trying to just drag OG away from the rest of their cores?
They freshly played 2 observer boards, so this is where they're going to be playing for the next couple of minutes.
Are scanning for enemies.
Zeus having a bit of rocky game this time around. They managed to find a couple of times, and he was thinking about Hanya and Scepter. Maybe I need a skill set from that. Now Eon wants to be able to protect himself. And they also have said, you know, even though that he's not in the game, but a couple of voice lines, he's there. They can feel the presence. He's in the same building.
Very spirit. OG smoked up. I've got great ways of catching and killing any number of these LG heroes. BZM. Just going to clear out the midway rather than going into the darkness of the dire triangle. Yet again, they're going to want to play into their vision. 2 Radiant Observer Wards, and one up towards the top jungle and one on the basically the ground of the dire base. Beyond, scouted by the power shot, Uragi chases, shackle shot, and the avalanche there, and this Faceless Void now unstoppable.
Value this was laid out a couple of times, but got him like 4 kills already. Level 8 on Faceless Void. That head might have really paid off. Ame, level 15, getting install done. Still not that much damage. Like I don't think they can go in and first Faceless Void, especially when Vorlon is sitting behind him.
Incredibly difficult. Yeah, look at that. The Spectre was a little bit ahead of the
fight near the road phase where everything's skyrocket for OG.
Like that. OG in a great spot. Avalanche misses. And Y with a glimmer cake, going to get himself down to the tree line. Can't TP out straight away, and the full staff there, allowing BZM to play aggressively into the together. Oh my god, you know, hook shot though. LGD not letting OG having any freebies. Taking down the timing of the Wind Ranger.
These are the type of fights that PSG LGD needs to take because Jiragi was showing top lane with no TP, so they knew that they can go for this kind of play. They try to split the map and then take the by surprise.
Straight back in, onto Jiragi, kill 2 bot, move up the top, golden drop, off the big yeah. Behind back misses, but Yuragi's gone straight into what I'm going to say. Nearly blown up, but he forcing the illness now after that chrono. Yuragi realizing quickly he couldn't finish the job that he started. And they will pick off Misha for GQ's cogs. Faith, yeah. Careful, buddy. Look who's coming over this hill. It's a monster. It's a mark.
Courier
And he is hungry.
Each brave courier knows the risks.
Splitting in the map, and then trying to go Faceless Void, beating Chronos here, assembling Eon on Zeus. And also BKB used from Faceless Void. So about these little things that did add up in this fight.
I guess that
Any big items on side of PSG LGD? Still far away from Spectres, Scotty, and Zeus going for Aghanim Scepter. That's gonna take a while. No BKB. Like PSG LGD will need to farm for another like 3 or 4 minutes to get another set of items on their side.
Yeah, I mean, forcing the chrono, the BKB is nice. Do you think OG are still happy with the way that all went? Because with no hold, Thunder goes around looking at the cooldowns there. Like, yeah, you've got hook shot, but Can OG go for another fight? Or with Golem and Chrono being down, are they going to have to wait it out just like LG will have to do?
I don't know if they want to force a fight without Chronosphere. Maybe if the fight comes next to them, they will take it. They feel much more comfortable just waiting for Chrono, waiting for that rock.
So both teams looking just to get that farm going. Wait out the ulti cooldowns. Try and prepare themselves for those team fights. Now placing deep vision, we see OG there with a Tinker Ward. Setting things up to maybe push out top tier 2. And of course we are now looking towards that second Roshan. A minute and a half until the big man spawns up again. GQ down in the bottom jungle. I'll find him. Oh,
the angle, still gonna die.
Hook shot to the creeps, the 3 heroes, 3 cores. Tracking back on him as they snap smoke. Aghanim set and delivered for the Huskar now. So he's got that upgraded life break, forcing the duel basically.
Yeah, pretty much. 3-second duration taunt. That's gonna be big. Locking down hero. He can find an opening on this. He does one up and down.
Trying to duke it all around, but Amar's bound him. Focusing the Spectre and the Chrono, jumping from Uragi, diving deeper. Tiger dies, Ame somehow. He's still alive. Solar Garden there to heal up the Zeus as well, but the Spectre finished off by OG. He wants to fight and continue this one. Misha doesn't have the Golem. Down goes the Warlock. Thinks the other double kill and OR. He needs backup, but he needs it fast. He'll life break down for the low ground of the Greek waiting for LGD. They've got his number. Amar's in the corner, battling with the clockwork. He's gonna finish on GQ.
They're trying to keep him alive with the Glimmer King, but it's not going to be enough. Roshan is being pinged out 20 seconds. They need to get this Rosh, because it was a relatively early buyback from Ame. He wanted to join the fight. 10 seconds. In terms of Rosh damage, not the greatest. They do have like Man-style Spectre with the Desolate and Denso on Dawnbreaker, but I don't know if they want to go in. 40 seconds until Huskar respawns. Huskar's doing so much in these fights.
Oh yeah, he is. And really, it is no joke when you've got 3 bombs on 4 or 5 heroes. And life break comes out. Something like a Spectre who is very tanky, all that damage stacking up and spilling across LGD. Huskar there didn't have buyback, and we know that, but maybe something LG were considering was the ability for Huskar to rejoin the fight and make it a 5v5.
New neutral items are dropping. Anything big? Nothing on their side. Spectre with the Paladin Sword. That's not going to keep her alive in these fights. Clockwork with the Cloak of Flames.
Gonna have one of those cloaks as well.
Clockwork. When he picks it up.
Cloakwork, yes, of course.
All the abilities are going to be ready in 20 seconds for OG.
Oh, Blink Dagger for Tiger now. Even more maneuverability to get on top of the Zeus, which has been his primary focus. Finally shack the shot angles. Been very good from OG. Huskar focusing Spectre.
Misses.
Clockwork. And the cross. Shackled up. And then Tiger showing off his fancy new item. Repositioning himself perfectly. Clock dead for 40. Is this a quick buyback that contest?
Yeah, I think they will. 40 seconds, more than enough.
Buyback Clockwork.
And look at OD. As soon as that buyback happens, they're ready to move out of the pit, reposition, think about their options, go to the high ground. It's always the safest move. But which high ground do they want? They're like to go triangle. No, that's too far back. We'll go aggressively onto their high ground. Move to their top lane. Find an avalanche to respond to their hero and pick off one.
Tiger has been on point. Playing with Tiny this time around, just follows on stun from Tiny. I like optimization on OG. BCM going for a force staff to be able to get that from the cog. Also, close the distance between the heroes.
There he comes. Clockwork's in. A hook shot from Cog to goal. In on 50 out hit. Maybe slips the leg, you're on BKB's up, but the Zeus is being focused by the Huskar. Amar just jumps straight in the back line and takes it. Going to TP's home. He's perfectly fine now, and Dawnbreaker slamming into the BZM, about to die points away from the hammer. Down in the river, looking to slip away from Uragi and Amar, but another life break comes on forward. Solar clockwork, sure, but Uragi needs to do so much more. Faith Piano will be a big pick-off for them. And LGD lose 3 heroes, while OG could still go into the pit.
Yeah, they could potentially buy back on Huskar if they feel like they don't have enough. Golem is there to tank Roshan. They have sustained from Nisha, but still respecting. Fortunately, not going to save the DP out of the fight. Like, this is majority of their damage. And one more time, the field away, trying to set things up. That was a fight without the Chronosphere, because Uragi wanted to land a 2-man Chrono, but canceled it last second. And they will have it. They will have it. 15 seconds for a BKB, so that's a lot of damage. 25,000 damage on base void.
And with the Zeus back at all, they're doing about the same amount as well. But LGD not in position to go and contest this Roshan. OG gonna get it for free, it looks like. Nothing to say, sat in the mid lane, Army down bottom. No ultis for LGD, and no way they can get into this pit to stop OG.
Seems like they're gonna bail. Not gonna go for Roche. Uragi thinking about going in. Jump the high ground, just hand Midas.
They got Chrono, they got Shackle Shot, and it looks like they're gonna get an easy kill. Find the pick-off yet again onto the Xingqiu Clockwork.
Amar getting both of these trades from Roshan, Aegis and a Shard. So now he has Aghanim Scepter plus a Shard, Sage on top of it, going for Satanic next. This Huskar is massive. They need to deal with it twice. Last fight they had double damage on Dawnbreaker and did manage to blow him up. But this time around, I feel like it's going to be much more difficult.
Way harder. We still really haven't seen the scaling potential of Army, right? Going back to the discussion about the Spirit Vessel, it's been a slow, steady game. So it's Army expected to get the LTTD, who's gone Vessel, Manta, Aghanim, and then later to Skadi. Are you going to struggle to do damage required in that carry?
It's more going to be about trying to kill the 2 supports on an OG and then deal with the rest, because locking down Face Void with status resistance with Warlock behind it, and might be too difficult. Amar not in range to use it immediately.
Oh, our favorite animation.
Stop it.
The Huskar midlife break animation gets stuck for a few seconds.
I think you follow, go inside the base.
Yeah. I mean, it used to, right? There are a bunch of those things, maybe Dota 1, I don't know about early Dota 2, but there's things like if you Omnislash the TPing target, there were chances that if it was a certain frame, your TP's activated.
Breaker charge, you could not cancel it at one point. It's pretty brief ability.
Life break back in the fountain, Faith Beyond, he found and immediately burst it bashed. Cancel the TP. And Chase him into the trees. His BKB's up. Blakey is coming. The hook shot forward. The same up with Xingqiu's move. Uragi trapped in the cogs. Or is the Clockwork trapped with him? The Bashes and Stones. Uragi just turns and faces against Clockwork. LGD spend a fair amount there to save Faith Beyond, who is still stuck in the forest.
They should know that he's there because he tried to TP out.
Yeah.
And that means he's there somewhere, but they're not going to waste any time. And now he's with Scotty, another form of slow.
80, massive 21,000 net worth on him. Huskar not too far behind. And Faith Beyond is going to transition into that carry from the off lane that we're seeing more and more often. Uragi, where are you heading off to? Top jungle, hunting wide. It's just very oppressive from OG. Push bot tier 1, move up the top. There is no room to breathe here for LGD. Being suffocated.
A little surprised that the Wind Ranger did not buy Shard. Because we have Blade Dagger, Force Staff, which is kind of okay, but I would love to see a Shard somewhere in between.
And Gale Force always seems so impressive when it's used in pro games. Maybe he's forgotten about it.
Dire's bottom tower has
We're picking forward. Wants to keep this one going. Playing that creep wave. Gets his own creeps up to tier 3.
is under attack.
LGD going to quickly realise that they have to deal with this one way or the other. A team fight is imminent. Nothing to stop this Huskar just yet. Zeus and Nimbus quickly cleared out.
Structures fortified.
Alright, LGD want to try and wrap around with this face off in front of their tier 3s. And they clip. And they hold OG back, but I don't think that's going to stop the war machine from moving. Yeah, you're right, your time walks up, reverses it back.
Well, if you understand where the real threat is coming from, if you look at the itemization, Huskar does have extra magic resistance, then you have Tiny with the Mage Slayer and the Warlock full pipe.
Huskar's just finished off a Satanic, I think.
You're right.
Coming on Courier, full Satanic flying out to Amar. Drops the sand. Now he is impossible to deal with. It's one of these games where, I don't know, like who do you focus? You go on Huskar, but kill him twice, basically 3 times with how tanky he is in the Satanic. Faceless Void has BKB Time Walk, he's difficult to kill once.
It feels like they need an extra set of items. We're talking about Scotty and Spectre, potentially Basher, that goes through BKB. Because they have a very hard time locking down the target. There are some BKB piercing abilities with the hook shot, but I don't think that's enough. Now, new neutral items are dropping. I see Spell Prism.
Down to items, not like, think about Doja and team fights, how we start them, the order operations, is there some way they can think about hookshot Nimbus onto a wall, kill him first, and then move on? Or is it just they need these items to actually contend with OG?
They'll need those items, but advantage for OG keeps on rising. 2.5 minutes for a potential row spawn. There is a Basher on Dawnbreaker.
Catch on white. Oh, mate, wants to force a fight. Nimbus down, trying to hook shot it up. And wants that Takira, but you're arguing with his BKB and having Chrono ready. Looking for you, the Bashers don't come. LGD disappear as quickly as they arrive. You're getting a 1-for-1.
Quick in and out. They're buying time. We mentioned the next set of items. There is a queued up on Dawnbreaker. We're getting closer to level 25 for Dawnbreaker especially. Fate Beyond have a really good game. Like we're talking about 2 Starbreaker charges with Magic and then a BKB on top of that.
Hiding in the trees. Once more, look at Iraqi's positioning.
Not just positioning, I'm looking at neutral items. Zeus found the timeless relic. Extra 15% spell damage and debuff duration.
And so that spell prison on the void. Even more time walks. OG planting themselves up top, knowing that Arme was in that northern tree line, but it's already TP'd away. OG just going to reclaim the outpost up top. That's like LGD. We'll go for the mirror movement, get some of that safety farm in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Maybe get some vision going as well. And knowing there's at least a minute until the next Roshan will be available.
We didn't mention that Faceless Void did hit level 25, having the backtrack ability. It's a big one. This is like this can turn the whole flat around, especially if you try to burst down. They don't have any Silver Edge, which that talent is breakable. No one has it, so it's going to be very difficult for PSGLG to just lock onto Yuragi and...
It just keeps getting longer and longer, doesn't it? It feels like they decide device, they need Silver Edge, they need this item, that item. How do you deal with it? It's so damn difficult. And now Tiny has an Aghanim Scepter to add to the worries of LGD. Disassemble his Echo, of course. The Mage Slayer, Aghanim, they jump the Huskar, look at that goal. They drop out the fatal bombs on them, and Amar is still healthy to battle Fate Beyond. Brings the Dawnbreaker down, BZM in the back line, takes down GQ and Y as well. Tiger running up that high ground.
It seems like PSGLG, they're running out of steam. They cannot match with the damage, healing, sustain that OG has at the moment. Again, this is a fight without the Chronosphere being used. Faceless Void, he is the carry, but so is Amar. They have like 3 good scaling cores. Amar is massive. Having Satanic, level 24 has 3,000 gold saved up. There's going to be a couple of buybacks coming in. Fabian does have one, and so does Wyatt.
Yeah, they might have to spend all 3. And that tier 3 tower broken down by Amar and BZM. All they need are those couple of kills to shake the foundations of LGD's base. Nothing to say behind his tier 4s. He's at a safe distance here, just trying to shove out the wave as best he can, but you're right on the high ground, and BZM with a jump in, tosses you across. Nimbus there, and Uragi. Oh, he's got a lot of HP, but the time will down. Tiger diving deep in towards Duncan Zeus, but they've got the damage to bring him down. And a Solar Guardian launching Faithian forward. Bash jumping straight in towards them. Armand the light break back. BZM will save his managers and engage. Armand on the run back to Uragi. He's got the Chrono still. Eon Disc is not there. Doesn't have it available. Zeus Guard, Faithian getting caught out. And that's got to be the beginning of the end now. No Dawnbreaker. Armand and Uragi able to battle through it all. He's got the inner fire. He's got the ability to stand his ground, but he will finally fall and hit the ground.
And Roshan respawn a lot of it from PSG.
Deep show.
Every single game OG plays, they try to ban him out.
It is Dire's ban. It is Radiant's ban.
Impossible.
Dire's turn to ban. Radiant's turn to Dire's turn to pick.
Razor.
10 seconds remain. 5 seconds remain. Dire's turn. Radiant is
Monkey King.
It is Radiant's ban.
Warlock. Clockwork.
It is Dire's ban. Radiant's turn to ban. Seconds. 5 seconds. Dire's turn to ban. Seconds remain. 5 seconds. It is Radiant's ban. Dire's turn to ban. Dire must choose. Radiant's turn to pick.
Bristleback!
Radiant's turn to pick.
Timber Saw!
Dire's turn to pick. 10 seconds remain. 5 seconds remain. Radiant's turn to ban.
Bad Rider!
Seconds. 5 seconds. It is Dire's ban. It is Radiant's ban. Dire's turn to ban. Radiant must Dire's turn to pick.
Juggernaut.
Seconds remain. 5 seconds remain. Select your hero. Make the ultimate choice. Prepare for battle.
We will not forget this. Top is missing.
5 мажоров выиграл в доче.
Oh, sick burn.
А давайте-ка выиграем. Йо-хо-хо.
All is confusion.
We may never win. First blood is on the ground, and we're already looking for more. Who will emerge victorious? Radiant's courier has been slain in cold blood.
Between you and me, we got this lane, bloody.
Boom! There it goes!
Ooh, got a bad case of lame.
Radiant should look to their middle tower. Radiant structures are fortified.
Rock it on! Incoming!
Someone is blamed.
Coming in.
Radiant's courage makes the ultimate sacrifice.
And it's off from my
Пять мажоров выиграл в доте. А?
Oh, now I feel better.
A battle seeks resolution.
Damn, that smells good.
invisibility.
There is little hope for Radiant's middle tower. The dire glyph is now active.
Jackpot.
Dire's top tower is in danger. Dire should look to their top tower. Radiant's bottom tower is in danger. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant should look to their bottom tower.
I couldn't care.
There is little hope for Dire's
You
middle
are
tower.
dead. Dead.
Radiant's bottom tower is in danger.
Sworn of shadows.
Players here.
Мажоров выиграл в доте. А?
Go.
Do it
Dire's
with flair.
top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is no more. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Boom! There it goes!
Dire should look to their top tower. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant have fortified their structures against attack.
Do it with flair!
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Dire should look to their middle tower. Dire structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Rock it on!
Dire should look to their top tower.
And it's up!
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Like gears in the rain!
Regeneration!
Incoming!
Radiant's bottom tower is in danger.
In your face!
Killing spree! Killing spree!
Get you!
That's for me.
Dire should look to their top tower. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Coming in!
Radiant should look to their middle tower.
Rock it on!
The Dire scan, on the hunt for Radiant forces.
No.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's There is little hope for Dire's middle tower.
And it's off!
Radiant's bottom tower is in danger.
Go! Coming in!
Radiant's top tower is in danger.
Denied! Regeneration!
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Mega kill! Radiant should look to their top tower. Radiant's top tower is under attack.